New information in the execution-style murders of 8 family members in Ohio. Police are now looking into a Facebook threat mentioning one of the people in the Roden family. The threat specifically called out Christopher Roden Jr., one of the victims of Friday's shootings. Officials say the victims, ranging in age from 16 to 44, were targeted as part of a well-planned attack. Authorities confirmed that marijuana grow operations were found near some of the sites where the Roden family members were murdered. But they said it was too soon to determine if the operations and the murders were directly connected. David Begnaud is in Chillicothe, Ohio. David, first off, what do we know about the marijuana plants that were found on the property?
A federal law enforcement source tells us, Elaine, that about $500,000 worth of marijuana was found at some of the crime scenes. That is a substantial amount of marijuana in this rural area of southern Ohio. Now, I have to tell you, Pike County, Ohio, where the bodies were found, has a drug problem. Those are the words of the local sheriff. But to find $500,000 worth of marijuana is something that has surprised a lot of people in this area. As for a possible motive, investigators are looking at everything from a possible involvement of a Mexican drug cartel to a family dispute to possible gang activity. Everything is on the table, and the Ohio Attorney General says they're not ruling anything out. Elaine, I have to be honest with you. I get the sense that investigators simply do not have a solid lead that they are following right now. We have been pushing at every angle to get some kind of information from them because you can understand they've made it clear that the Roden family is the apparent target here, and they believe that there may be one or more killers. So I kept saying to the Attorney General and the Sheriff, what more can we tell the public other than just be on the lookout? Be on the lookout for who? What are they driving? Where were they last seen? And they would not provide or could not provide the information. In speaking with law enforcement sources, it has become more clear that officials are now simply just going down the road and eliminating people because they don't really have a specific subject or suspect that they're going after. 72 hours now since the bodies have been found.
So many unanswered questions. David, can you tell us more about this alleged Facebook threat toward one of the victims?
Yeah, it was made by Rusty Mongold. The alleged Facebook threat was posted on Facebook by Rusty Mongold. That is according to a law enforcement source who has told CBS News that Rusty Mongold was questioned the day the bodies were found by law enforcement officials. They questioned him and then they released him. On top of Mr. Mongold, another man was questioned. Isaiah Jones, he's a young man, recently graduated from high school. He is from Pike County, and he was also questioned by authorities. In fact, we have video, cell phone video taken by someone who recorded Mr. Jones being taken into custody at gunpoint by officials here in Pike County. We spoke with Mr. Jones today, and he was very emotional, talking about what investigators asked him and the fact that he says he's innocent and he feels like he is being made a scapegoat by what he calls haters in this community.
I really want people to know that I really had nothing to do with it and that these were also friends of mine. I just want this to be over, to be honest. Like, I just want the person to be found and my name to be cleared and everybody else's name to be cleared that didn't have anything to do with it. But I know if anybody knows anything, like, they can help clear people's names and actually know information, truthful information, that they should please contact BCI or the police station.
David, such a compelling story there. Yeah, go ahead, David.
Well, I was just going to say, so as of Monday, about 60 people, Elaine, have been interviewed, but all of them have been released. They have just gone down the road and talked to everybody. Any lead that they get, the Facebook threat, Mr. Thomas, who somebody allegedly said may have gotten into a dispute with the family so he would have something against them. They have gone to everybody within the last 72 hours and questioned them. But everyone who's been questioned has been released, according to our law enforcement sources.
Well, David, given that and given what you said at the top and what it is that you are learning or not learning from law enforcement there, what has been the advice to people in the community? I imagine there must be a great deal of concern. Arm
yourself. And that advice, Elaine, is being given specifically to the Roden family because the Attorney General and the Sheriff have gone out of their way to say we don't believe the 29,000 people in Pike County are at risk if they're not a member of the Roden family. For whatever reason, it is the Rodens that are being targeted. So they've been told to arm yourselves, and they have. One of our producers spoke with a rodent relative yesterday who said, and I'm paraphrasing here, he said, "I'm surprised you came up the road." He said, "We're all carrying loaded weapons right now." A lot of them don't even want to go on camera. A lot of them don't even want to release their names, have anything to do with talking because they are so fearful. I mean, Elaine, this is not to be dramatic here, but can you imagine? There's one woman who was executed in her bed, and her 3 children were killed as well. One of her daughters had a 4-day-old child snuggled right beside her in the bed. That mother was killed, and the 4-day-old baby was spared. For what reason, we don't know. But this was not just a murder. I mean, as one official said, this was a massacre. This was a massacre in southern Ohio of one family.
Wow. David Begnaud reporting on the ground there in Pike County, Ohio. David, thank you so much.
You bet.